Yo, what's poppin', people? Your boy Snacks is back in the building with another banger, and you know how we do. Before we get started, we got to shout out you, the viewer, for taking the time out to watch this video. But while you're here, make sure you do us a solid and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and do not forget to leave your comments down in the comment section. And y'all absolutely know that we cannot start a video without shouting out our ladies to see you aunties. So when you see them in the chat or you see them in the comment section, make sure you do them a solid and say what's up, speak to them, and wish them a very, very, very happy day. So, Cleveland, what are we doing? The media is in a state of confusion. They don't know what to do. They don't know what's going to happen. Everybody is full of assumptions and guesses. Nobody has heard anything from the Cleveland Browns front office. Everybody is full of conjecture. But let's talk about it because I love it. Welcome to the lunch table. And as we get started and go on this long video journey, y'all gotta excuse me. I just walked in the door. I went to my weekly breakfast with the ballers, and we had us a time. We always do every freaking week. And I walked in the door, walked straight into this room, and sat down. This video was set up for yesterday. Didn't have time to do it. So today we gonna get it done. I didn't have to do no prep, ain't have to put no videos in queue and none of that. We just going to work. So the Browns is in a state of confusion. Not the Browns in particular themselves, just the media. The media has a bunch of assumptions that they haven't figured it out yet, right? They haven't figured out what they're going to do, who's going to start, what quarterback is going to do what. They haven't figured out um, the four quarterback situation, and it's not like the Browns are the only team in the NFL with four quarterbacks. The New Orleans Saints also have four quarterbacks. But G. Bush, my guy, our guy, G. Bush, says the same things that I've been saying for a while when it comes to the Cleveland Browns and this quarterback. I don't even know what to call it. I don't know if it's a competition or if it's a controversy. But whatever it is, it's a complete mess. Because like I've told you, if they are planning on drafting a quarterback in the first round in next year's draft, then this year's draft was a waste. But before we get started with that part, we're going to go with Tony Grossi and all the hate that he has done. This is Tony Grossi yesterday.
Hey, Tony, Ray wants to know if Shedeur keeps 70% plus completion rate throughout camp, how can they overlook that?
You have to put that into context. Training camp is a different level of intensity where they actually defend. And a lot of those numbers were built on air passes practically, 7-on-7s. Yes, you have to complete them. And the worst thing is just seeing those balls hit the ground in that. So he did all right, but don't get carried away with those numbers.
See what I'm saying? When talking about Shedeur, Tony Grossi is that all of those numbers are false. They weren't throwing against anybody. But let's continue with the Tony Grossi hate. This is
People in Colorado have been dying for somebody to ask you this. They want to know, Tony, why every time you mention Shedeur Sanders, particularly when it comes to his success, you also mention Dillon Gabriel. Like, Shedeur's success can't live on its own. It's always living in your mind with Dillon Gabriel alongside of him. Can you explain why that seems to be the case?
I just think Gabriel is overlooked because of the massive shadow that Shedeur casts. And I get the feeling that everyone thinks Shedeur is the only player out there working hard. And he's the only one who's the last to leave. But I think people are overlooking. There's another quarterback that the Browns rated higher than him. So be prepared if you see that guy play before Shedeur, because they like him a lot.
And it doesn't. This is just a rendition of Tony Grossi's hate for Shedeur and wanting to see Dillon Gabriel on the field. We understand that, but you don't tear one player down to build up another. And none of us that are rooting for Shedeur to do his thing have done that with any other quarterbacks in the Cleveland Browns quarterback room. Maybe Kenny Pickett, but not really. But let's continue with the Tony Grossi.
You've seen some training camp circuses. You were here for Tim Couch. You were here for Johnny Manziel. You were here for Baker Mayfield's rookie year and Brady Quinn's rookie year. What is going to be unique or different about Shedeur in training camp and preseason games?
Well, he's got such incredible fan support that I think if he isn't given any opportunities, the Browns are going to hear about that from their fans. I think at training, when fans attend training camp, it'll be obvious he's the most popular guy on the team.
Jeez.
I could feel that.
The
already.
fourth string quarterback is the most popular guy on the team.
Tony, I feel like
incredible.
you stopped short of saying the fans are going to riot.
No, but I think if they comport themselves like they do online, they may. Because I think there's a natural curiosity, too, even from unbiased fans of the Browns. Like, what is so special? Why does everyone love this guy so much?
Yeah, and that's what you want to know. Why does everybody love Shedeur more than the rest of that quarterback room? It's not your problem. It's not even your question to ask. You can't ask somebody why does people like one person more than the other. That's their preference. People like what they like, and you have a problem because someone has a bigger fan base than the other. And that's your main reason for the amount of hatred that you spew towards Shedeur Sanders. We're not done.
Is this feeling from some people that he has blown everybody out of the water? But are you resisting that? Or are you acknowledging
He's getting better every day. He's very coachable, very likable.
he doesn't look like a fifth-round pick out there? Is that fair?
Can we wait till the pass rush and shoulder pads get on? I mean, it is touch football, Aaron. I mean, right now. And what's the one negative about Shedeur was what? Drifting into sacks, not being able to get away without the physical, the running ability to get,
At what point are you going to start to give him more credit? Preseason
I'm giving him
games is
credit.
what
He's
you're
doing better, but I think this is overhyping again.
And see, that's the problem. And this is a problem Cleveland created for themselves when they drafted two quarterbacks in the same draft class. When they drafted Dillon Gabriel in the third round and then turned around and spent two additional draft picks to move up in the draft to draft Shedeur. Shedeur had nothing to do with this. This is all Cleveland's problem. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry created this mayhem because when you have a quarterback of Shedeur's caliber, someone that was predicted to be drafted the first or the second quarterback off the board in the top 5 of the NFL draft, and he ends up being drafted in the 5th round. But everybody, not some, not a few, when everybody during this pre-draft process said he is one of the best quarterbacks in this draft, and 4 other quarterbacks go before him, something is wrong. And the Cleveland media refused to say what's wrong. The Cleveland media refused to say that he is not a 5th round draft pick. Because he was drafted in the 5th round, he was not predicted to be drafted in the 5th round. He was not seen as a 5th round draft pick. He was not mentioned anywhere near the 5th round of the draft. What he was mentioned as was one of the 2 best quarterbacks in this draft, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. Take your pick. That's your best 2 options. What was said about Shedeur that he was the most NFL ready quarterback coming out of this draft. What was said about Shedeur Sanders is drafting Shedeur Sanders, yes, he comes with a lot of attention, but also he is the most accurate quarterback coming out of college. Yes, he drifted in the pocket because his protection wasn't reliable in college. Nobody says that part. Nobody says that he was the most sacked quarterback because he rarely had time to throw. But when given a clean pocket and time to throw, he was still the most accurate quarterback in college. 4 years of a bad offensive line, and he's still the most accurate quarterback in college football. But we got a quarterback now. But let's move on to UCSS and G. Bush and Big Dummy J talking about the quarterback.
But I can also say there was one year when Kenny Pickett was hurt. They had a chance to go back to Kenny Pickett, and they say, no, we're playing Mason Rudolph in the playoffs.
That they did.
He played in Pittsburgh. See this thing. This is the thing I keep getting. He played in Pittsburgh his whole college career. He played 4 years.
Yeah.
They watched him for 4 years. They drafted him in the first round.
Which was stunning.
They drafted him in the 4th round. And then they said, you know what? Nah, this ain't it. That's tough to do. They've seen him more than anybody in the league play.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that you can't come back and be Sam Darnold. Here's what I am saying. He may be listen, I watch these preseason games, and he's going to ball out. If he balls out, I give him credit because that's where it's the only thing I could do. But I also must say that it is imperative. It is malpractice for the Cleveland Browns to go and waste draft capital on Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel just to not give them an opportunity to prove something. Yeah, it's crazy because you wasted those picks. You could have kept, if you wanted to play, see, this could have been all easy. If they wanted to lose straight up, they could have just took Flacco like they signed him and signed Kenny Pickett. Those are our 2 quarterbacks. Whichever one that loses the battle is a backup. We'll take a flyer on some practice squad guy, and now we take those picks that you had in 3rd and 5th, and we surround this and bolster this offensive line.
Sure.
We bolster some receivers, and we're going to lose next year with these old guys and then go get our quarterback. But you muddied the waters when you use draft capital on young quarterbacks.
Not 1, but 2 picks.
But 2. Actually, it's 3 if you say, because you had to trade up to get Shedeur. And then the
Boy, G. Bush been watching my videos. Because ain't that what I've been saying? This is a wasted draft if you're not planning to see what you have at quarterback. If Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are not going to get an equal amount of opportunity to play, this is a wasted draft, which means Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry need to be fired at the end of the season. Why did you draft these 2 quarterbacks to only say, oh, we just gonna draft another quarterback because we got 2 first-round picks next season. Since you traded up to get Shedeur, that was 3 picks. You drafted Dylan Gabriel. That's pick number 4. Those are 4 wasted picks that you could have used to build your offense, to build your offensive line, because that entire offensive line is filled with old linemen that are ready to retire, that have been in this league 10, 12, 13 years. You are not restocking your equipment. You are not restocking your shelves with fresh groceries. You are getting the out-of-date groceries from the back and keep pulling them to the front and hoping somebody buys them. What Cleveland has done in the past 26 years is put this team on a path to fail almost forever because they have not invested in their team. Cleveland has had a good defense for at least the past 5 years, but they've had no offense. They haven't had a proper quarterback. They had Baker Mayfield, but they didn't wait. They didn't want him. They were too busy worried about him being in State Farm commercials than putting the necessary equipment around him for him to be better. Just like now, you have one number 1 receiver, but who is your number receiver 2? Who is your receiver 3? Who is your slot guy? You have nothing else bona fide on that offense to help your quarterback. Yeah, you got Njoku, you got Judy. That's it. You drafted 2 running backs. 1 running back ain't going to see the field for about 8 games. You don't think Dylan Sampson's the guy, but he was one of the best running backs in the SEC. In the biggest conference in college football, you drafted the second best quarterback, because Quinshon Judkins was the best, but he went to Ohio State. And you don't think he's good enough, then why'd you draft him? Yes, you might have to get you a 3rd running back out of the free agent pool to help. But what are we doing? This is why the Cleveland media doesn't know what's next. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This is why they don't know what they are doing. They don't know who's coming up. They don't understand anything. Cleveland has not built this team to succeed. They have not done the proper things for these players to earn a playoff spot. They have been looking for Peyton Manning and Tom Brady in a quarterback for the last 20 years. You get one that is Peyton Manning, Tom Brady-esque, and now you want Lamar Jackson. You don't want that accurate quarterback no more. You don't want that quarterback that can read your defenses and see what's coming. Now you want Lamar Jackson. You want that quarterback that can scramble and get out of the pocket and run and get you 20 yards. RG3 tried that in Washington, and he ain't playing football no. You can't have confidence in your front office with what they've been doing in the last 3 to 4 years. This is Kevin Stefanski's offense. Who is the most qualified to run this offense? There's only 2, because there's only 2 quarterbacks in that quarterback room that run this offense. Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders in college. This is simple math. I can do their jobs from here. Because if you're not building for your future and you just want to play for now, and it seems like they just want to lose for now, and hopefully we can get Arch Manning next year. And there's no way Arch Manning is going to Cleveland. The Manning family won't let him. But then again, Arch Manning has not played one season of college football. His last name, yeah, it's good. But is he that good? Is he as good as his uncles? Probably better. But we don't know that. Can Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel run this offense? Probably so. Dylan Gabriel is at a disadvantage because he's 5'10" and can't see over the offensive line. When you got 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" offensive linemen, and he left-handed. Shedeur has run this offense. Shedeur has styled in this offense. Shedeur is the most accurate quarterback you got in your quarterback room. It showed when you were throwing on air. That's the problem with Tony Grossi. Yes, they were throwing on air. But on air, he was still better than everybody else. On air, against nothing, with t-shirts and panties on, he was better than everybody else. If we're throwing on air, why is his numbers better than theirs? You say it's the terminology. You say it's the processing. Look like they are slow. Because he is completing more passes than they are. He has more touchdowns, less interceptions. Numbers are numbers, analytical people. That's quarterback plays. The excuses is he don't understand the playbook. He can't understand. He can't call out the plays. You are a lie. Because the offensive coordinator calls out the plays in the headset and they just regurgitate them. To counter any misconceptions and misunderstandings when calling plays, you put a wristband on his arm. So that notion that the terminology and calling plays and not being able to run the plays is a bunch of lies. Because if he doesn't know the plays, how is he completing more passes than everybody else? Is his playbook different? If it is, they need to get what he got. Because in everything that you tried to give me and tell me that he wasn't the best that you've had, he looked better than them. He's ready. But I digress. I'm just a guy who is full as hell, a little bit juiced up, feeling kind of good in the morning. You know what I'm talking about? Because when you go hang with the homies, it's a party. Oh my. It's always good to hang with the boys, and once a week we need that stress relief. You know what I'm talking about? But anyway, people, I'm going to get out of here. Because I got to go change clothes, get a little bit more comfortable, drink me some water, and we might be back. Ain't no might. We'll be back. We dropping some more today. But I ain't even going to continue with that G. Bush conversation that they were having because, wait a minute.
The complicated thing is, you took one of the most popular quarterbacks in the draft, and you act like people is not going to clamor for him because it's going to happen. That's the thing that people are confused about the most. And we didn't do it. The Browns picked those people.
I do think that they're both going to get an opportunity. You're going to see what they can do because I agree with your point. But also, I would also add this: if they took a defensive tackle in the 5th round, would you demand that they play him, or else it'd be a wasted pick?
No, but the third one, I got a problem with.
I totally agree.
Third round pick, I got a problem.
What it is like when you draft quarterbacks and you throw them right into the fire. Especially in this organization, there is a long, muddied history of us just ruining guys in year 1 or 2 because.
No. They didn't ruin guys. They picked the wrong guys. They picked bad quarterbacks. Ever since 1999, since college, there has been a ripple effect of the Cleveland Browns picking horrible quarterbacks over and over and over again. But all they were doing were picking quarterbacks. They were looking for lightning in a bottle and they couldn't find it. And now that they have it, they don't know how to use it. They're scared of what they got. They don't want to put Shedeur Sanders out front and get the fans all hyped because they're so used to losing and they're so used to bad quarterback play. What if he's different? What if he's better? What's going to happen if? Then what do we have to put around him? Shedeur has played and succeeded with less every year. With less than everybody else has had, he still succeeded. So what's the problem now? He's played with bad lines. He's played with less receivers than everybody, but he's also made them all better. He's made everyone better around him. His receivers got better. His linebackers got better. Safeties got better. That's what he does. So what are we waiting on, Cleveland? What are y'all doing? Like I said, if Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry don't get their shit together, they need to be fired at the end of the season. But now we're going to get out of here. It's time to go. We've been playing around. I need to go change clothes, give me some water, and get myself back together. And we got football practice later on. So I'm going to get out of here, man. Y'all have a good day. Do not forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are more than happy to read all of your comments down in the comment section. Love it, love it, love it. Y'all have a good day. Don't forget to holler at the CU aunties. It's time to remove ourselves from the lunch table. We out. Peace.